Hello, 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 hello. I am back live to talk to you about the announcement that Spike Lee was made into ambassador of Benin for African Americans. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. And I appreciate those of you who hung in there. I started live and had some challenging network issues, so I've come back to a fresh new live. So I appreciate you being here. I hope that you can hear me this time and that you can see me clearly because there was no picture and there was no sound earlier. Can you see me? I hope that you can see me. Hello, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you for joining. Kwame, you are a loyal follower. I appreciate you for being here. I hope that those people who were on before are able to join on to this live stream now that I've been able to come back. Now, as I said, I am here talking about the announcement about Spike Lee being made into an ambassador to Benin. Fred, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. It was a challenge in the previous live that I just had to end quickly and come back on. Hello, Isabel. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. So this is an announcement that was made yesterday, and it is about filmmaker Spike Lee, who was made ambassador to the country of Benin, the West African country of Benin, and him and his wife. So I'm going to share the screen with you from the story from the BBC, where I first saw the story about him and his wife being named as ambassadors to Benin. So I had spoken to some of you in a live stream earlier this year that Benin was one of the countries that was offering citizenship to the African diaspora community, people of African descent. And so now it's like it's been formalized already, but now with them bringing on board someone like Spike Lee, it gives them an opportunity to really push the agenda, push the story. So he and his wife both have been named ambassadors to Benin. Here is the story that I'm sharing with you. So Benin named Spike Lee and wife ambassadors for African Americans in the US. And as reported in this story, Benin has appointed renowned American filmmaker Spike Lee and his wife, Tanya Lewis Lee, a seasoned producer and author, as its ambassadors for African Americans in the US. The couple are expected to serve as thematic ambassadors, raising awareness and supporting initiatives to promote Benin's ties with the people of African descent. This agreement was finalized during their visit to Cotonou, Benin's capital, last week. The French Republic broadcaster RFI had made this report. So the government says that it's going to help reconnect people of African descent around the world to their historical, cultural, and spiritual roots. You can go on to read this, and in the story, it actually, when I go down a little bit, it mentions in 2019, Ghana launched what was called the Year of Return to encourage people of African heritage to go back to the continent. Now, Ghana's Year of Return campaign has really influenced a lot of other African countries to do these types of initiatives to encourage people to come to their countries. So while I was working with the Year of Return office and the Beyond the Return office, we did have people from other African countries reach out to our office and ask questions about how Ghana was able to do what they did to get the diaspora to come to Ghana. I personally, outside of me working there, because I left there in end of October last year, I have had people from the Gambia who were looking to do some campaign reach out to me. I also have had people in Kenya reach out to me. I've spoken to people in Nigeria as well, who are all interested in what can they do to encourage the diaspora to come to their country. So Ghana really was the leader in all of this. And so a lot of countries now are saying this, using the same buzzwords of heritage and culture and history. And these buzzwords, it's not that it's a bad thing, saying buzzwords, but it's like the reason why people really connected with Ghana was because of the whole history, heritage, and culture. And historically, I think Ghana really wins a lot because Ghana had already been a Pan-African country for decades. With the first president, he invited people from the diaspora. He invited Martin Luther King. He invited W.E.B. Du Bois. He invited people from the diaspora to come to Ghana in the 50s and the 60s. So Ghana has had a history of doing this for a long time in different cycles. And it just happens to be that during this period of social media, it became a huge sensation because the timing was right. It's like years of snowballing, and then the timing was right. So now other people are going to benefit. Other countries will benefit from what Ghana did. So going back to Benin, so Benin is offering, they're also now doing a citizenship program that the diaspora can apply for citizenship for Benin. Now, one thing that people have to keep in mind is Benin is a French-speaking African country. So if you are English-speaking and you want to go there and live there, it's a different thing to go there on vacation than to go and live. If you have intentions on going there to live there, it would be very important that you take the time to learn a language, because that's one of the reasons why a lot of people who come from places like the US and Canada and the UK, why they're able to navigate a country like Ghana easily is because with Ghana being a former British colony, English being an official language, a lot of people, most people, especially in Accra and Tema, Cape Coast, like a lot of the urban centers, people speak English. So it's easier for you to get by because you can communicate through English. But when you go to places like Benin, Togo, Burkina Faso, like people speak French because they were former French colonies. So you would have to really make a concerted effort to learn the French language. So it's not just about going there because you want to get your citizenship. You really do need to learn the language if you are gonna be successful in transitioning to a country like that. Fred, thank you so much. Go Ghana, go. Yes, yes, yes. And Kwame says, great news about him and his wife regarding Spike Lee and his wife being made ambassadors in Benin. And then I Love Baby Beach says, greetings, Ivy. We are visiting Kofodria from Aruba. Oh, welcome. I hope you're having a good time so far. And so I'm going to put on the screen right now the website for people who might be interested in the citizenship in Benin. So I'll go and put the website link in the comment section for anybody who might want to visit the website on their own. But for now, I will share the screen for that website so that you can take a look for yourself while we're on here live. I'm just going to do the share screen so that you can see how their website looks for Reconnect with Benin. Submit your application for Beninese nationality. So you can see there, that is the homepage. And then as I scroll up, that's where you see it has recognition of Beninese nationality for Afro descendants. So when I tap onto the read more, it opens up the application process. And it says recognition of Beninese nationality of Afro descendants is a method of acquiring Beninese nationality for persons who, according to their genealogy, have a sub-Saharan African ancestor who was deported from the African continent as part of the slave trade and the triangular trade. So it says it takes 3 months from the date of notification of receipt that you completed your application. And it looks like it says it's $100 here to make the application. And then it goes through how the process is done here. So you take your time when you're doing it, read through everything, and it goes through what the requirements are. And then this one is one that I think a lot of people will be very interested in. It asks who is legally Afro descendant in the Republic of Benin, because that's really the requirement before you can apply. And it says under Beninese law, an Afro descendant is anyone whose genealogy shows that they have a sub-Saharan African ancestor who was deported from the African continent as part of the slave trade and triangular trade. people of sub-Saharan African origin born before 1944 in countries or territories deported as part of the triangular trade are deemed to be Afro-descendants. So I presume they're going to be wanting DNA evidence to prove that you are a person whose genealogy lines up with being a person of African descent from the continent of Africa. So that is the information there. I'm not going to read all of it. If you are seriously interested, you can go directly to the website and go and take a look for yourself to see about you making your application if it is something that you are interested in doing. So yeah, I thought it was very interesting hearing that they've made the decision to make Spike Lee and his wife the ambassadors for African Americans. So a large part of their role is going to be promoting the country, promoting the country's culture. And I'm sure they probably have had some kind of agreement or MOU that's been signed that very much will have them active in different activities and festivals in order to promote the country. So it'll be interesting to see what Benin is doing over the next little while. So for those of you who don't know, Benin is right beside Nigeria. So from Ghana, when you go east, it's Togo, and then you keep going, then it's Benin, and keep going, then it's Nigeria. So Togo and Benin are between Ghana and Nigeria. I swear you'd think that Ghana and Nigeria were beside each other, the way that Ghanaians and Nigerians behave with each other. You'd think they're right beside each other, but there's two countries in between. So yeah, for those who don't know the geography of where it's located, because I'm sure there's people who don't know the geography of where it's located. So it's good to know for yourself as well. So what do you think? Those of you who are on this live stream, what are your thoughts on the fact that they decided to make Spike Lee an ambassador to Benin, him and his wife? What are your thoughts? Do you think he was the right person to choose for this? What I find interesting is that he came to Ghana in 2022. And when he came to Ghana, he came as part of a delegation with the former vice president, Kamala Harris. And when he came, there was some controversy, some drama that people were saying that Spike Lee didn't engage with people in the film industry. But the reality was he himself actually made the claim that nobody reached out to him. But I know for a fact that there were a lot of people who tried to reach out to his team. And I think sometimes celebrities forget that they have a team, they have gatekeepers, and sometimes people might reach out to you, but they're not going to get to you because you do have gatekeepers. So it was people in the film industry who wanted to connect with him. It wasn't like it was, an average fan who's trying to reach out. There were people who were, major stakeholders in Ghana's film industry who complained that they would have liked to have connect with him to, talk to him about possible collaborations, what he could do to help with promoting Ghana's film industry. Similar to how we see Idris Elba doing a lot when it comes to promoting film in Africa. But the difference, I guess, is Idris Elba is directly connected to Ghana because his mom is from Ghana. His father is from Sierra Leone. So it wouldn't be the same for Spike Lee. But Spike Lee did make the claim that nobody reached out to him. But I do know that there were people who reached out to try to get an interview. I was one of those people who tried to connect and without success. So I can speak to the fact that people did reach out to him, but they weren't able to get to him. But unfortunately, when he made that statement, it made it seem like nobody cared. But yeah, so it will be interesting to see how it goes with him being an ambassador to Benin. Benin is a country that a lot of people don't really know much about because I mean, we hear a lot about Ghana, we hear a lot about Nigeria, we hear a lot about South Africa, Egypt, and where else? We hear a lot about Kenya, Tanzania. So there's certain countries in Africa that we do hear a lot about. And Benin is one of those places that we don't get to hear it as much about. And so it will be really good for them to get the promotion. They do have beautiful, clean beaches. I've been to Benin. I've been to Benin twice actually, but when I went, I wasn't there as a content creator making content like how, I tend to do now. I went on a business trip with my uncle because he does business in Benin and in Togo. So I went to Togo and Benin, and I went with him twice. I went to both countries. So I can say that their beaches are clean. And there's not many people who go out on the beach because, I mean, I feel like there's things that when people live somewhere, they don't always appreciate, but then other people come and they're like, wow, this is so great. So yeah, they have beautiful beaches. And also they are known for the biggest voodoo festival in Africa. They have a huge festival that they do every year that is really on their traditional practices of the voodoo faith, the African spiritual faith. And there's some people who are very much against it and would never go because they feel like it's demonic, but they thrive on that. And it's a huge driver of tourism for them, that particular festival. So that is something also to consider. When you go to Benin, it's known to be a country that still has a lot of people that practices a lot of that. Devonte TV says, I think it's going to be a hard sell right now back in the States. Plus, they speak French. Yes, that's what I was saying earlier, is that it's a French-speaking country. So that's going to be a challenge for anybody coming from the diaspora, from some of the countries that usually come to Africa, because usually people are coming from, like I said earlier, Canada, US, the UK, and they're English speaking. So that's part of why people are drawn to countries like Ghana, because of it being English speaking. You would have to consciously be learning French to thrive in Benin. So, and like he said, he's saying that it's going to be a hard sell. Also, finding things to do, because it's a really low key place. Benin is really low key, like on a day-to-day basis. I met a man when I was there with my uncle. I had met a man who he was doing business with, and he was speaking a lot about how him and his wife save up money for like the whole year to take their annual trip to come to Ghana, to come to Accra. And what I found really fascinating is the way he spoke about Accra is the way that I would hear somebody, let's say somebody who lives in, I don't know, Indiana or something, talking about their dreams of going to New York, or their dreams of going to LA, or somebody dreaming of going to London or Paris, or, the way he spoke about it was like that. And I was so impressed, because I said to myself, this is what Africans should be doing. They should be talking about another African country and be like, wow, that's my dream, is to go there. I'm dreaming of going there. That's where I go for my holiday. That's where I go and do, ABCD. It was nice to hear, because when you're living there or you're from there, you kind of be like, really? You're like, really? That's what you're thinking of? Wow, the way you're talking about it is like really fascinating. So it is, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Kwame says, next time I go to Ghana, I'm going to Benin and Togo, and I want to go to the Voodoo Festival. You should go and check it out. Leslie Fountain Williams says, Spike Lee is a known Black American who has a history of positive representation of the realistic and positive Black American experience. I'm not sure what is his ambassador objectives. Yeah, he really does he has a huge history of telling African American stories. African American history, being very political on some of the challenges that people in the African American community have faced over their lifetime. His films always have something that resonates, that's a teaching moment, a teaching point. And so it will be interesting to see how they're planning on leveraging him for Benin. It's very possible, it's very possible that he might have intentions of exploring film there. That's very possible, because I know that there are people who are looking to the continent of Africa as another way to explore their creativity, to do something different. Like when Idris Elba did Beasts of No Nation, that was filmed mostly in Ghana. Although they styled it as if they just called it an African nation and never really gave the country a name in the film, but he filmed it mostly in Ghana. And then there was another movie that Michael Cole did, that not a movie, it was a series, I believe. They filmed some scenes in Ghana. So I think it's possible that maybe he's getting some incentives for film. It's possible, because one of the things about movies is sometimes people will film somewhere because strategically it's easier to film there, or logistically it's easier to film there. For example, Canada. I used to do a lot of background stuff in film back in the 90s in Toronto, and I remember a lot of the projects. There were a lot of things that were filmed in Canada that were like American movies, and the scene is supposed to be in New York, but they're filming it in Toronto. And they used to say that it was so much easier to close down a whole area of Toronto than it is New York. So much easier with the costs, the fees, the permits, to close down like 2 or 3 streets in Toronto than to try to close down in New York. So a lot of times they would come and they can make Toronto easily look like New York, because it also is a concrete jungle with lots of tall buildings, and you just find a corner somewhere and you can make it look like New York, and you can make it look like Chicago, because there's been stuff filmed in Toronto that they make it look like it's supposed to be Chicago as well. And then it's the establishing shot. So if you're not in film, or you don't understand film and media, establishing shot is the shot in a movie or TV show when it establishes where you are. So let's say in the beginning of a movie, you see the skyline of New York, you see the skyline of Chicago. The establishing shots would be obviously from New York or obviously from Chicago or something, but on the ground, they're in Toronto. So the establishing shot taken with a drone or whatever, and then on the ground, they're in Toronto. Like the whole series of Suits, Toronto. That was all in Toronto. If you ever watch Suits, it's on Netflix right now. It was all in Toronto, except for the establishing shots when it's like far up to get the skyline and stuff like that. But on the ground, in the buildings, everywhere, I was recognizing places when I was watching that show. Like, oh yeah, I recognize that spot, The things that they do to try to make it authentic is they'll cover up the street signs with like the New York street signs, change the mailboxes to, US mailboxes so that it's not the Canada Post boxes. So those kind of details. I remember there was a movie, I'm trying to remember what movie it was in the 80s, where they forgot to change the post box, and I saw the Canada Post mailbox in the movie. And then in one of the Police Academy movies, they were doing a water scene and they forgot that their CN Tower was in the background of the scene. So yeah, anyway, I digress. I'm saying all that to say, maybe Spike Lee is interested in filming something in Benin because it's easy logistically to film something there, because you don't have to deal with a lot of the crowds. Because as I said, their beaches are nice. So I don't know if he wants to do a beach scene, or maybe he's doing a historical film. He might be doing a film about the slave trade. And I mean, Benin also had that whole history as well. So you never know. So yeah, let's go to the comment section. Kwame says, I think the African nations should come together with regards for the whole issue of people of African descent. Yes, the African nations need to come together themselves. They themselves aren't even together. And as we've seen recently, Wodemaya did a video where he talked about, you know, how challenging it is even traveling between the countries, how expensive the visas are for Africans to travel from one country to another. It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense, because it's like an African will have to pay $200 for a visa to go to another African country. And then sometimes that very country is visa free for someone coming from the US or someone coming from Britain or from somewhere in Europe. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I really believe, sometimes I'm like, what is the African Union doing? They need to be more proactive in trying to make it a borderless situation for African nations and African people to be able to travel from country to country on the continent. That's the step in having us to have unity to begin with, is to not have all of these challenging borders. Yeah. So yeah, so thank you everybody for your comments that you're making. As I said, this one wasn't you know, a long live stream, but I wanted to come on here and just talk about that quick announcement, because I saw that announcement. I was like, oh, I got to share this with my audience. I don't know if they know. Shay says Spike Lee is most known for the 1992 movie Malcolm X with Denzel Washington and Angela Bassett, as well as many New York-based movies, My Home State. Yeah, he's known for that. He's known for a lot of movies. He's known for a lot of movies. But yeah, the 1992 film Malcolm X was phenomenal. Well done. He should have won an Oscar for that. That was a really well done movie. Yeah. So, but he's also known for Do the Right Thing, which came before. That was 1989. Do the Right Thing was a really good film. He's also known for I'm drawing a complete blank now, but there's another movie that he did that people talked a lot about, but a lot of his work is critically acclaimed. But yes, Malcolm X was a very high profile film with Denzel that really kind of, I guess, made him more mainstream, because the other films before that, it was really like people who were within the culture that really knew about him and were really down with his work. Yep, you said School Days. I remember School Days. Yeah, School Days came before Do the Right Thing. That was a good film too, and touched on, and yeah, and She's Gotta Have It. Yes, and She's Gotta Have It, and touched on you know, the School Days touched on the colorism issues within the Black community. Yeah. Kofi says, I'm late coming here. I was watching the President John Mahama tour in the OT region. Oh, he's touring the OT region. I see. Good for him. Does that mean you were there, or was it on the news? Good for him. I didn't even know that he'd gone there, but good. He needs to go there. Ivy, what have I missed? I'm talking about Spike Lee being made the ambassador to Benin for African Americans, promoting African Americans to go to the country of Benin, and how Benin is following the lead of Ghana's Year of Return. So, so yeah, you can watch the replay and see what I said in the beginning. Kwame says, but you know why that is, Ivy, with regards to travel, because Africa has to not design for the benefits of Africans. Yeah, it's not been designed for the benefits of Africans. Had to drink my tea. This is a blend of sorghum and maca, M-A-C-A. Sorghum leaves grow in Ghana. They're actually not just Ghana, throughout Africa. Sorghum, they often make it into a powder. They make it into porridge. It's a superfood that you can, yeah. So my powder, I add hot water to make it a tea. Mm-hmm. Packed with nutrients. It's one of the things I love about some of the natural things here. Packed with nutrients. Yeah. So staying healthy. You can stay healthy here if you're very conscious about it and aware of all the things. But sometimes people are naturally healthy. They don't even know it, that some of the things they're doing naturally here are good for you. You're welcome, Kofi. You are welcome. So we've been on here for 30 minutes chatting about Benin. Shay says it's cheaper for me to fly from Qatar to Accra than from Accra to Gambia or Accra to Senegal. That is so true. I was looking at a flight. It's a couple of years ago. I was looking at flight costs and stuff because we were having some discussions. And I was like, this is insane. It was like almost the same to fly back to Canada, to fly to another African country. It's horrible. It's horrible. And then the other problem is some of these countries don't even have direct flights. Sometimes you have to fly east to go west, or fly off the continent and come back on the continent, which is ridiculous. It makes no sense. Ivy Prosper, you can watch the President John Mahama tour the OT on Wizzo TV. All right. Thank you. Thank you. You're always looking beautiful, and thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I'm going to wrap up. I just want to remind everyone that if you ever feel compelled to support this channel, it's a lot of hard work doing what I do and what a lot of content creators do. And I want to this year start, I would like to travel. Yeah, would like to travel to another African country and start sharing more of my perspectives from other places, because I think that's really important. It's really important to be able to explore and to share my perspectives. Now, I know there's a lot of creators, I shouldn't say a lot, there's a number of creators who have been doing a lot of traveling, and we're seeing some of the places in the continent through their eyes. Like, our biggest one, Wodemaya, traveling around and showing us some of the places in the continent. And there's a lot of other creators who've shown us places too. But I also believe that we all have our own perspective and our own way of telling stories. And I would love to start sharing my perspective and my way of sharing stories from some of these countries, because I think that I have a different way of seeing things. And I also have a different way of communicating information than other people do. Everybody has their own personality and their own take on how things are. And I think that my life experience and just who I am, I think it's going to present something fresh and new when I get a chance to start moving around to other places. It'll be really, really great. Kofi says, make sure you're all watching this live streaming, have clicked on the like button and subscribe and donate. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Next comment is, I'm Shinecock and Yuchi Indian. Oh my gosh. Let me just take this off because I do not like to see the N-word. Yeah, that was, yeah. I don't like seeing the N-word. I'm sorry. So I've taken you off. I'm not putting yeah. Anyway, Kofi says, make sure you all call all your friends and family members whenever Ivy Prosper goes live. Thank you. That would be good, Ivy, to travel. Yes, it really would. It really, really would. Shay says, we love you, Ivy. You do amazing work. Your scope of content is appreciated. Thank you. Much appreciated. Kofi says, Ivy, my brother, check. In effect, YouTuber are planning on coming to Ghana in December. Awesome. 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 It's always great to see people coming to Ghana. I had the opportunity to be part of a YouTube community. In the communities, we get to share and exchange ideas with each other and talk about things, because we all have our experiences on how this work is, because it is work. People, sometimes you're being entertained and you're seeing all this stuff and seeing people having a good time, seeing different places and talking to different people. But it is work. It is work, just like you have your work that you do. This is work. People have to spend time researching information, finding people to talk to. And then when you're doing it, because you know how hard it is to be on camera, it is not an easy thing to be on camera for a lot of people. You got to put your A game on. You always got to be on point. And sometimes a person may not feel like it, but they have to, because we have built communities of people like you who are there for us, because without you, we wouldn't have the work that we do, because it's important for us to have you there to support us just by watching, by sharing, by commenting. It's always really great to know when we're doing what we do, and it feels satisfying when we know we've given you what you are looking for. And that's one of the reasons why we also want you to comment too, because when you comment, it gives us an idea of if you actually like the content or if there's something else you want to see. You can always, share something else. Then it gives us like, oh, okay, this is what they're interested in. Okay, let me look at that. Okay, let me see. So yeah, Ivy, you need to get some moderators. I shouldn't I? Because I do all this myself. I'm doing this all myself. Like, I literally am talking, and I'm the one who's showing you the people's names in the comments, and I'm typing stuff on the screen. So it's literally all me. Kofi says, Ivy, are they planning on having a get together for YouTubers in December in Ghana? I heard that they are, but I don't know for sure. I heard that there's possibility that YouTube might be doing something for creators in December. And I know that there's a couple of events that people do that's sponsored by YouTube for content creators, events that happen in November and December. So I'm sure that those will happen again. So, but as for now, I don't have an official confirmation about it. Yeah. So thank you, everybody who was here today for this live stream. I came on to talk all about what the whole thing with Spike Lee and how they're offering citizenship in Benin. I'll just share that on the screen again. That citizenship in Benin, if you are looking to connect, you can go to their website, which I'll put in the comments again. I had put it in the comments earlier, but I'll put it in the comments again. Their website, if you want to tap that link that I just dropped in the comment section right now, so that you can also get more information on how you can, apply for the citizenship with Benin, or you just might want to travel there and get some travel information. And if you want to reach out to me, you can reach me on my email, info@ivyprosper.com. It's also the same email for Zelle if you would like to support this channel through Zelle. If you don't use Zelle, you can also support the channel through PayPal. Let me get the link for you there. You can support the channel through PayPal if you are so inclined. It's just like, just buying a person a cup of coffee or something. I know that there are some places that some sites where they say, buy me a cup of coffee. It helps us in every way for us to be able to do the work that we do. We don't all have huge sponsors. Some creators get massive sponsors who sponsor them with, big budgets to do some of the things that they do. Some of us are doing it all on our own. So I really appreciate it when people are able to support. Comments. Make sure you're all watching. Click on the like button and subscribe and donate to this channel. Thank you, Kofi. I appreciate you. Benin is a great country and a lot to do. Shay says, thanks for sharing the Spike Lee update. My partner is 50-50 Benin, Togo. Oh, wow, that's cool. That is cool. And that doesn't surprise me because the countries are right beside each other. So I wouldn't be surprised that people, are connecting with each other. Because in Ghana, there's people who, actually, I know somebody who one parent is Togolese and one parent is Ghanaian. So that happens too. Actually happens a lot in Ghana and other countries. I mean, whenever you're close to the border, in any place, I think that can happen. So yeah. Big up to you all here with much love on this Blessed Friday. Yes, thank you so much for spending part of your Friday with me here on the live stream. I appreciate you. And I have a couple of videos that I have just dropped this week. One has gotten a huge response from some of you where I talk about the reasons why some people decide to leave Ghana after a couple of years. And then I have another video that I just dropped earlier today where I interviewed a woman who has a polyamorous relationship. She was on TLC and she talks all about that. It was a deep dive into that conversation. For me, being a journalist at heart and in my mind, I wanted to dig deep and find out why someone would be interested in that lifestyle. So check that interview out as well. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you for being here. I am going to wrap up and let you go back to your Friday, whatever you're deciding to do today, whether it is morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.